What's going on, guys? So, my scent of the day today again is kind of a random and odd choice, one that I haven't reached for in some time. It's ultra cheap and performs really well for what you're going to spend. They're still around $10 from US sellers on eBay. And it's kind of the forgotten Creed Silver Mountain Water clone with so many great takes on Silver Mountain Water, like Metal Rain from Banana Republic and their Icon line, for example. Um, Club de Nuit Sillage from Armaf. There's just so many good ones that have come out since this, so people tend to forget about fragrances like Al-Rehab Silver. While admittedly, one that at first I deemed a little too floral long before florals kind of dominated my personal taste and preference. Um, but it's one I want to talk to you about today. We'll try to keep this as brief as we can, but I have some thoughts and I want to share them with you. So stay tuned. So this is a Middle Eastern house. They make roll-on pure oil perfumes and they make a variety of different style bottles. I love the frosted glass on this. Like I said initially, it it was a little too feminine for me. The notes on this one are very simplistic. It's not a super crazy, detailed breakdown, but it's just cut and dry citruses, watery notes, green notes, white musk, floral notes, and woody notes. And there are some similarities in this note breakdown to what Silver Mountain Water has, but there's no tea notes, there's no black currant and stuff like that. This one does have watery notes, and it's much more. The difference here is it's much more aquatic, and I believe it to be a bit more floral. It's definitely more aquatic, more floral, and extremely metallic. I have two sprays on my bare chest, three around my neck, and I guess we'll, for the sake of the video, get one spray on my forearm. Very crazy fresh, clean musk, bright, very watery and aquatic. And I mean, fresh is an understatement. This is extremely fresh. The florals here are kind of lean, kind of white floral, honestly. I don't really pick up anything that would distinguish rose. There could potentially be like a little bit of a synthetic iris in there with maybe some jasmine, something like that, giving a bright, fresh, almost soapy like feel to the scent profile. It doesn't change drastically outside of maybe the citruses kind of fading and the florals, musk, and woody notes kind of being what you're left with in the background. It doesn't have a lot of subtle nuances or anything like that. It's not a complex fragrance by any means. It's actually quite simple in its design. Just about what you get up top is what you're going to get most of the life of the fragrance. And like I said, in the backdrop, the very deep dry down, it's going to be kind of floral, woody musk. You're going to lose some of that citrus, watery freshness that you get up top. But it is quite lovely. It has a little bit of that inky feel that you get from Silver Mountain Water. But like I said, this is much more watery and aquatic and much more floral. So while there's similarities, I don't deem it to be a one-to-one clone. You can tell that's kind of the path they were walking. I mean, hell, it's even in the color scheme and the name. That's the route they were going for. But it's more on the synthetic side, sure. But it does smell great. It is potentially one that may have to grow on you, though. If you don't like florals and cleaner, metallic, musky smells and stuff like that, this, because like I said, at first I wasn't a big fan. It was a blind buy. It's not something you can just go to any fragrance department store and sample. And, like at first I wasn't a big fan. And as you can see, the juice level dropping. Granted, I haven't worn it in quite some time. It comes in 35 ml. You can get the roll-on perfume oil. I prefer the eau de parfum spray. And wearing it today and doing this video makes me want to wear it more often. I may potentially grab another bottle. Like I said, they're right around 10 bucks. You can get two packs for like 18 bucks from some sellers. So it's very, very cheap, and they have a multitude of fragrances to choose from. This is kind of just the one that got all the hype several years ago on YouTube and on social media in the fragrance community. And while it's not something you must try, for 10 bucks, it's actually better than a lot of fragrances you'll find at rack stores for 10 or 15 bucks. Let's discuss the performance real quick. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Over the years, I've seen people say they get phenomenal performance. I've seen people say they get next to nothing. It comes down to skin chemistry. If you're getting next to nothing, it's your skin. If you're getting beastly level performance, it's still your skin. For me, it's on the longer lasting side. This is more in that 7 to 8 hour range. So I would deem it 6 to 8 hours. Not some crazy beast like some people get, but definitely far from weak. This is not a weak fragrance on my skin. It's very bright, very airy, kind of loud at first, but 6 to 8 hours of life. And speaking of it being loud, the projection in the first hour to hour and a half is very, very loud. It's light and airy. For being an eau de parfum concentration, it projects like an eau de toilette, like a lighter, airier oil concentration with more alcohol. It really gets out in the air. This stuff is very bright and can choke you out if you spray too much in front of your face. But this is one that will get noticed. Is it going to be a massive head turner? Not necessarily. It could be. It does have a little bit of uniqueness because if you're around people that are used to standard designer stuff, your Dior Sauvages, blue fragrances, things like that, this is going to smell a little bit different and much, much fresher than a lot of those fragrances, for example. Sillage on it, more on the moderate to mild side after the projection kind of settles down after about 2 hours. And you're going to have a very light, closer to the skin, very, not really moderate, not really mild trail. That's why I say moderate to mild. It kind of falls somewhere in between, where within a few feet when you walk by somebody, they'll get a light whiff if they're breathing through their nose, but it's not something that's necessarily very captivating, but it does have enough performance, at least in my experience, to grab somebody, potentially. Overall thoughts on Al-Rehab Silver. Like I said, you could do a lot worse with $10. It's worth rolling the dice on it for $10. Like I said, for me, I thought it was a bad dice roll, when I first got it. And then as my taste changed from just blue fragrances and spicy fragrances to florals being just as important to me as blue fragrances and spicy fragrances, that's my three favorite style fragrances. This kind of encompasses a light blue fresh fragrance with some floral dominant features. Very, very metallic. Like I said, that cold steel type of smell, and very watery and aquatic. Like I said, super fresh. This is one that the more you spray, the more it's probably going to grow on you, because that's been my experience with Al-Rehab Silver. Overall rating on this one, it's nothing spectacular. I do think it's better than good. I think this is every bit of a 6.5 out of 10. Not quite very good, but definitely better than good. 6.5 out of 10, if you know my rating system, like I said, that's not bad, because a good fragrance is 5 and 5.5. Better than good, 6, 6.5. Very good, 7 and 7.5. Great is 8 and 8.5. 9 plus is outstanding. And then behind the fives is where it goes to okay and subpar and terrible, which we don't run across those. I don't run across those too often. It does happen on occasion, but this one's better than good. And like I said, you can do a lot worse with $10. If you're looking for a much more fresh take on Silver Mountain Water, it doesn't have quite the level of inkiness. It's kind of like Silver Mountain Water meets Azzaro Chrome in some ways, because it's so metallic and citrusy, watery, fresh at the top, that I feel like it's a cross between the two. You may want to check out Al-Rehab Silver. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on what at this point in 2022 I feel like is the forgotten clone of Creed Silver Mountain Water. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this one in the past? How many of you, this is the first time you're hearing about it? Like I said, it's nothing that you need to rush out and buy. But if anything I said sounds good to you, maybe it's worth dropping $10 to see if it's something you'll like. Like I said, they have the roll-on oils, which I've never tried that. This is the only thing I've ever tried from Al-Rehab, and it's definitely solid. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on silver from Al-Rehab and you give it a spray now, there's a possibility you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.